We are living in a culture entirely hypnotized by the illusion of time, in which the so-called present moment is felt as nothing but an infinitesimal hairline between a causative past and an absorbingly important future. We have no present. Our consciousness is almost completely preoccupied with memory and expectation. Or if we open our eyes and see clearly, it becomes obvious that there is no other time than this instant, and that the past and the future are abstractions without any concrete reality. There is a whole other world that exists for you to experience. The concept of the past, the future, are concepts which you can never physically interact with. Places you can't experience firsthand without the reference point of your current position. They simply don't exist. Tomorrow never comes. You'll always and only ever exist in this moment, and this moment only. An eternal consciousness housed in a cycle of vessels. To bring your whole awareness into this present moment, simply breathe in. Breathe out. You are here now. Being on the constant hunt for deeper knowledge will grow tiresome. Beyond depths of knowledge and thought lies direct experience. Look at the animals. It appears they waste no time pondering creation, nor do they seem to make inquiries to find out about their own bloodlines or origins of existence. They experience life as a sensory activity, as it is to be experienced, following their instincts and physical senses. Their consciousness has evolved to play the game, to live day to day through their instincts. They did not evolve mental faculties to study the world's mythology and origin. From our human perspective, they live in a more simpler sense, perhaps even a purer sense of there is intelligence to this way of life. In physical experience, we may not discover the origins of existence, but it is here that we get to experience life in its most full and capable capacity. And within the realms of sensory experience springs a different kind of knowledge, the purest sense of life itself. In life-threatening emergency situations, the shift in consciousness from time to present sometimes happens naturally. The personality that has a past and a future momentarily recedes and is replaced by an intense, conscious presence, very still but very alert at the same time. Whatever response is needed then arises out of that state of consciousness. The reason why some people love to engage in dangerous activities such as mountain climbing, car racing, and so on, although they may not be aware of it, is that it forces them into the now, that intensely alive state that is free of time, free of problems, free of thinking. Personality. Slipping away from the present moment, even for a second, may mean death. Unfortunately, they come to depend on a particular activity to be in that state. But you don't need to climb the north face of the Eiger. You can enter that state now. Playing the game that has been presented to play. Is that not what we came here for? Through living in the conscious moment, thoughtless of past and present, we may not learn the origins of life, yet we learn how to better play the game. And is learning to play the game not a more worthy pursuit than searching for the game's origins, the game's secrets? Consider a game of chess between two grandmasters, two players who have spent so much of their lives on the board in gameplay that they are capable of orchestrating devastating tactical operations many moves in advance, wielding vast mental powers and creativity, far exceeding the average abilities. What a joy it is to watch the game unfold. Much like a work of art, to witness the pinnacle of a human's mental capabilities inspires deep reverence. To master your craft. Contrast this to another game of chess, where two players are exerting their mental faculties, discussing and debating the historical origins of the game of chess itself, whilst playing their moves on the board. The art of the game takes a backseat to deep philosophical discussion on the meaning of chess and why we play it. There's thoughts absorbed in the history and mythology of the pieces, and much less attention afforded to the actual game at hand. In a physical sense, not much eventuates out of this game. Perhaps they discover the secret origins of chess, or they don't. But the game itself lacks richness, lacks depth of strategy, or any other displays of mental prowess that make the game worth playing. The game itself was boring to watch. Although there is no correct answer here, we should assess what's important in how we wish to live. In a similar way, we can get lost in the hunt for more knowledge on the secrets of life, reading book after book and watching video after video. We become so engrossed in the pursuit of knowledge that we minimize our own sensory experience of life and reduce our output into the world. Your own valuable output that this world so desperately seeks from you. The shades of green in the color of the trees, the various scents in the air, the heat of the sun. These are experiences you won't find directly in any books. Wisdom and knowledge inside this raw experience of nature than that of anything you might read in the pages of an ancient text. As a seeker of truth, this hunt for answers and more wisdom could be your life's work, and you may have chosen to sacrifice other pursuits in your life for this position. If you feel that this is your particular calling, then you don't even need to consider such questions on how best to spend your time. If we were all in the Matrix, one would think that we must awaken everybody. Though if we're all in a video game, maybe we'd say, just play the game and enjoy it as it was intended to be played. The truth is neither Matrix nor video game. It is what you believe it to be. Look into the sky. Try and look past the sky. Do you really think anything exists out there? Beyond the blue rendered space we call the sky? Or is it an edge, a border, much like the borders of any other video game? Perhaps the character could theoretically leave, but physically can't. Reality so very much wants you to believe that it is a vast universe out there and not an enclosed system environment. Believe what you want. In fact, what you choose to believe will matter most. Once to the thought of what lies past the skies is more important than what lies past the skies. Far beyond any objective answer of whether anything lies beyond the skies or not. In fact, it is questionable whether an objective answer even exists. We tend to imagine objects in space and time existing independently of our existence. A human in a country, in the solar system, in a galaxy, within a universe. But we must remember that everything in this universe, known to us, is occurring from within our mind, not in terms of physical matter, but in terms of frequency. And where is the source of this stimuli coming from? If you lived in Mario Land, how would you go about finding the Nintendo console currently running your Mario Land reality? You wouldn't. You couldn't. You can only move back, forward, up, down, or jump. Your movements are limited to the limited dimensional movements of the Marioverse. You are in Mario Land to play Mario, and play Mario you will. But Mario is only an extension of the player playing him. In the same way, you are perhaps only an extension of the player playing you. You are like the branch of a tree. Mario is oblivious to the controller, the player dictating his every movement. Mario has become the embodiment of that player in the Marioverse, much as you are an extension of your greater self that exists outside of this realm. Don't forget that your body is an instrument of reality creation, of energy conduction. There is no underlying structure that exists independent to your consciousness. It is being created as we speak, as you think, and as you live. You are a part of a whole. There is no pre-existing base reality. Nothing exists without the presence of your consciousness. Our human body is a reality-shaping tool. It can do this because the universe is malleable to our own will. The ancient Hermetic texts allude to this same principle, that the universe is mind. That is why techniques such as visualizations are so effective in bringing about the reality that we so desire. We exist in this system through an avatar. At birth, given a blank slate. There is a you that chose this scenario, much like how the character is selected before commencing gameplay. This current state you are experiencing is connected to a you that perceives infinitely more than your body and mind in this realm does. You agreed upon the limitations of your faculties in order to enjoy and participate in this game of life on Earth. I think it is apparent that if we didn't wish to be here, if we didn't need to be here, we simply wouldn't be. I hope from this you can relax. It's hardly real. This is a game to be played. You'll never be in the gaps where you don't exist, but will always be in the points where you do exist. And it will always be this eternal moment of the present that you're experiencing right now. With this idea in mind, a good starting point is as follows. Use less words. And where the situation permits, practice a state of no thought, thoughtlessness. Between you and the raw experience of life itself lies your mind, a useful tool that is often a burden, interrupting your ability to perceive life in its purest form. To experience life right now, disengage from your thoughts, your mental chatter, and ideas. Simply engage with your five senses, allowing everything in, as it is. Now is the only place where life occurs. Now is the only place where you exist. Our thoughts cloud reality. They take away from the sensory experience of now. When you were a child, you could tune into reality with the greatest intensity. It was for this very same reason, the ability to tune into the present moment, the universal stream